everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode of Numerology Quick Takes, we're going to take a look at this very powerful full moon that's occurring on November 5th or 6th, depending on where you live in the world. This is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box, and I'd love to work with you. So this full moon, this is a potent one. This is a powerful one. We're probably going to see some significant shifts, especially on like the global stage. This energy that we'll be talking about in this quick takes is the collective energy, the universal cycle that we'll be moving with. And we'll all feel this. We'll all feel it in some way, shape, or form. So it's relevant for everyone. But this full moon, we're going to be working with the very intense, potent energy of the 16-7, but also the 17-8. So this is a really interesting dynamic when these energies work in conjunction with one another. So in kind of a nutshell, and then we'll break it down, the 16-7, when it comes in a cycle, is that vibration that brings about some kind of significant awakening, some kind of extreme necessary shift, some kind of disruption that again is very needed, very necessary in order to sort of move the ship in a different direction than the direction that it's been moving in, where we haven't been getting the results that we want, or those results are outdated, expired, no longer relevant. So the 16-7 comes in and kind of really, I don't want to say forces us, but really pushes us in a really strong way in order to make those necessary shifts. And usually that comes through some kind of direct awareness or greater understanding or greater, awakening through an experience, a very physical experience perhaps that we've had or that we're having. And that pushes us to get up and take action and to make the necessary changes in order to see those shifts. Now, again, it's coupled with the 17-8, and I really like to see this in conjunction because the 17-8 is the gift. It's a dream coming true. It's the prize after the effort. So what's really beautiful about this is, again, we've got this really intense energy that's pushing us to make some kind of extreme shift, some kind of significant change within our lives, within the collective. And in doing so, again, from that greater awareness, we will see the rewards of our efforts. And those rewards will be quite significant. The 17-8 promises that. So in tarot, this would be like having the Tower card, the 16-7, in conjunction with the 17-8, the Star card. So it's kind of like that Tower moment followed by the rewards of moving through that awakening. So it's like we're getting this very clear preview of what this full moon wants us to do. So again, move through the greater awakening, do something with the greater awareness that we've gained or that we're gaining, and then we will see the results, and those results will be significant. So the 16-7 quite literally has the potential to bring in unforeseen, sudden events that are intended, like there's an intention behind this energy. It intends to overthrow existing conditions, especially in a material sense. So again, we could see where there's been power struggles, there's been control, there's been mismanagement of material goods, mismanagement of people. And this energy has the intention, if energy has intention, to break us free from the erroneous ideas, habits, actions that we've been moving through or that we've been seeing play out, and take some kind of a stand to alter the direction that we've been moving in. And for some, this has to be done in sort of a forceful way. So the 16-7, again, because we're talking more collectively here, this could bring about some kind of war some kind of conflict, some kind of extreme conflict, some kind of significant, again, something happening on the global stage that just has the power and the potency to wake people up, to help people to see that we can no longer move in this direction. And there can be losses, there can be setbacks, especially in businesses, financial affairs, again, like all things kind of material. A lot of times we have to sort of feel the pain. We have to move through a difficult experience in order to gain that awareness, that understanding, that go through that awakening, again, to understand that there has to be a shift. Something needs to change. And this 16-7 is trying to show us that. But again, sometimes we have to move through the extreme challenges in order to recognize, yeah, this isn't working. Like, we have to do something better. And no one's probably going to do it for us. So we need to show up, put in the effort, make the changes necessary in order to see the results that we want to see. Selfish ambitions that fall under the 16 could lead to bankruptcy, conflicts with the law, things coming to light that kind of are more shadow side of society, perhaps, could really come into the light. You could see, now again, this is sort of a shorter transit, but it's the timing of this is what's important, because it's happening in a 9-year, in a 9-week, because the week of November 3rd is a 9-week. And I'll talk more about that when the week ahead comes out, the quick takes for the week ahead. But this is that kind of energy where, just like with the Tower card, we start to see things crumble. We start to see things fall apart. And it's the things that are going to likely fall apart, especially like more on the global stage, are the things that did not have a strong foundation, that were already starting to fall apart. And perhaps the people, places, things that were trying to keep whatever these things were erect, we're fighting really hard to keep them erect. But I think we're going to start to see things crumble. It's also interesting too, because the 16-7 can in extreme cases bring about some kind of imprisonment, or again facing the consequences of previous actions. So would not be surprised to see prominent figures, again, it's someone who's got, or many people who are on the global stage in positions of power could go to prison. Again, not saying it's going to happen right at this full moon, but this is potentially the beginning of something very significant. And we've been working with this kind of energy all year in a 9 cycle. So yeah, this is kind of, this full moon is very, very important. Just keep that in mind. Not only for our individual, experiences and lives, but on the collective global stage, which of course we're all a part of. Deception, trouble in matters of the heart could come about, that more on like the individual level. So be really conscious of your actions. Make sure that you pay attention to your messaging. Make sure you pay attention to how you are connecting with another person. What are your motives? What's the motivation behind your actions? And it's interesting too, because I think on a global stage, we're going to really get a clear indicator of the motivations behind the actions of people in government, people who have more power than the masses. And, these are things that we've been starting to kind of really see and pay attention to this year especially. But with this full moon, and, it's a full moon, so things coming to culmination, coming to closure, endings. So it's very possible that there could be some deception that is being unveiled, that we're able to see it very clearly. Of course, then we have to decide what we're going to do with that greater awareness, because it's our actions, our individual actions, that will ultimately create that make the difference. If we have the awareness, but we don't take better action, then we're just going to keep getting what we've been receiving. And if we're okay with that, great. But if we're not okay with that, then this is prime time to take action. And again, in the United States, there are several states that have very, 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 very important elections happening on Tuesday, the 4th. So if you're in one of those states that are having these very significant elections, please vote. This 16-7 energy is exactly that. Like, use the awareness or the understanding that you have for what's right, for what will create a better environment, a better experience, not only for yourself, but for all. Use that power, the power of the vote, to get out there and vote. And you can say, oh, well, my vote doesn't matter. And yes, it does. Yes, it does. Get out and vote. This 16-7 energy is that very stark reminder that we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. If we don't make the change, then we can't really complain about what we keep getting force-fed. And again, I would say, just to reiterate, the energy operating during this cycle is super intense. So this isn't necessarily a time to take risks that aren't calculated. This would be a time when I would say, just be careful about like accidents, be careful about conflicts with others, because emotions might be running hot, tensions might be strong, and you just don't want to sort of ignite that fuse that could create some kind of significant combustion that isn't necessary. Channel that energy into, again, being taking the action that you want to, that will help you to see the experience that you want to see. And going back to and what I said initially, right? The 16-7 is about significant transformation and change, especially on the physical plane. So this is a time where you can use this energy to truly plan wisely for the future, not just your own future, but again, that of your community, the collective. Because remember, our individual actions affect the collective. And this full moon is such a very strong reminder of that. But again, use the energy wisely. Channel it into something constructive. Channel it into, again, building and creating the future that you want to see, not only for yourself and your family, but your community, the world, blah, blah, blah. This is a time also where I would say, follow your instincts, follow your gut. This is going to be a time where your intuition truly is going to be your North Star. Use it as a guidepost. Let the external inform you. Take the advice, take the information, but then when it comes to making the final decision, make sure that that's coming directly from you and your intuition and your inner knowing of what's right, what feels good, what feels, again, that's not only serving just the highest good for you, but the highest good of all involved. If you listen to the generous advice of your inner self, then it's going to help you to really work with this energy and not only kind of move through any of the disruption that could come your way or that we could see kind of playing out, but again, it will help you to formulate a strategy, a plan that you can implement moving forward, especially once we start to see what crumbles, what falls away, what falls apart, what shifts come in, right? And those deeper insights could definitely sort of reveal to you where there's been a more selfish or materialistic or egoic approach. And it could really spark your gifts that will help you to work towards a future goal that will not only, again, bring good fortune, good experiences to you, but to those around you. The thing to remember, and this is compounded and intensified by the conjunction with the 17-8. Remember, like the star card, the gift, the dream coming true, the prize after the storm, or the prize after the effort. But the 16-7, yes, the power of this energy calls for potentially great loss, but it also brings the potential for significant financial gain, fame, prosperity, things, again, moving in a much better direction. All the material rewards are yours, or ours, as long as we don't become obsessed with ownership. So really, that in a nutshell, the 16-7 is about breaking down those structures, those institutions, those in power sometimes even, that have claimed ownership or control or are power hungry. And again, so much of this year, so much of this energy, but so much also of Pluto and Aquarius is about putting the power back to the people. And we can just see that on so many levels. Now, again, is it going to happen overnight? No. But energy like the 16-7, again, coupled with a 17-8, is that reminder that it is possible to have a rebalancing, to shift things accordingly and significantly. And it's interesting too, because the 16-7, it's non-negotiable energy. It's that energy where it's this change has to happen, and it's either going to happen by invitation or divine intervention. And so, yes, we have free will, and yes, we have a say. But sometimes when massive shifts to this degree are needed, if we aren't up for the challenge, then we're going to start to see that divine intervention that will sort of organically bring in the necessary challenges or, disruptions or changes to kind of help us along a little bit. So very, very, very potent, powerful full moon. And it's happening in the sign of Taurus, which I find really interesting. But Taurus is an earth energy. It's a very grounded energy. And this 16-7 is very much about the physical plane and all things physical, and needing to kind of move through the necessary shifts and transformations to break free from the grip of, capitalism, extreme capitalism, or again, power hungry individuals, or manipulation, control, etc. So it's this energy that promises massive shifts to help us to evolve. That's ultimately the goal, to help us to evolve, to step up, right? Level up. And because again, it's a collective energy, this is just feeding into that raising of the consciousness of the planet. But again, that doesn't happen without us, because we are the consciousness of the planet. And so we have to go through these extreme shifts and changes and transformations in order to raise our own consciousness, so that feeds into the collective. And again, 17-8 promises those significant rewards. What this the image this kind of creates for me with these two energies coming together so strongly is sort of waking up from the nightmare in the most beautiful dream. It's this energy that just says we have to do the work. We have to do what's necessary to create the change in order to receive the reward for that change, in order to experience that change. So we have to move through the crumbling, the dismantling, the destruction, the chaos, all of that in order to get to the beauty, get to easy street, get to the harmony, the peace, the balance, the dreams coming true, the prize after the effort. So use the energy of this full moon wisely, especially, I'm speaking to the United States here because obviously I live here, or I'm an American, right? But, yeah, if you're in the US, please use this energy wisely and don't let it pass you by, because you have a lot of power right now in your vote. So please get out and vote. Okay, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. But this is such an incredibly powerful full moon. So I hope that however it touches your life, though it might feel difficult as you're moving through it, just know the promise is there of the 17-8, which is the star card, which is this beautiful energy. So just do the work. Do the work while you're in it. Don't fight the change. Don't allow fear to dictate how you lead. Lead from your heart center, lead from your intuition, and you're not going to go wrong. Yeah. And again, we're doing this all in a 9-week, within a 9-year. So it's going to be intense. It's going to be intense, but I'll tell you, it's going to be worth it. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.